Sangye Chöda Sangye Chönamda Jajo Marnonda Negan Suchi Kage Chushin Kirke Sonamgi Jona Tenchu Sangye Chubasho Sangye Chöda Sangye Chönamda Jajo Marnonda Negan Suchi Kage Chushin Kirke Sonamgi Jona Tenchu Sangye Chubasho Sangye Chöda Sangye Chönamda Jajo Marnonda Negan Suchi Kage Chushin Kirke Sonamgi Jona Tenchu Sangye Chubasho Dati tenam lepa shena ses shena che tamje tene shakul batang tene tabat tene jeba niji rangu tum nebatang niji itu tadi tene shak bayinsa rangu matu tene taba yinsa rangu matu tanji jegi chun tene jeba yinsa rangu matu omi shaba mebe tanyi rangi rangi rangu tuba mebata
So now this is on page number 100 and Tibetan text. If you use Tibetan text 214, the English 100 from the beginning. So if you understand those points well, you will understand well. So then that is that all phenomena must be positive dependently. Okay, dependently. So since they are dependent, they are not independent. So independent, that's why they are lack of true existence. So tene tapa means because they are just dependently imputed. Yes, tene tapa. So that's why these are all reasons why things are a lack of intrinsic existence or the empty of nature. So they are dependently imputed, and then tene keba means dependently produced. That's why they are lack of lack of true existence or lack of self-existence. Okay, should be never. They are not established the way of their own entity. That's why this is the reason why they are lack of self-existence. So the first one is that phenomena must be positive dependently, so that can be every single phenomena. There are two kinds, I think compound and uncompound. Okay, so both, it covers both. And same thing is the second one, just dependently imputed. This is same, covers entire compound and the uncompound phenomena. Now the dependently produce, this only and applies to the compound phenomena.
어다 다들 저기 주는 어디지 당이 좀 샤바님이 라온에 오냐 비인상 디게디 때네 샤고바 인스 때네 샤고바 때네 따바 때네 게바 인상 랑고 몸에바디 이리스 아니 추가니 양 여바존 따도 맞아요 아니 조바티 셰베 주그리스 딘데 인스카르사 때네 따 샤고 때네 따네 때네 따바다 때네 게바니 인바 인사 니 추근데 지여 조나요 따도 맞아요 조바티 내가 시그리스
So then text goes on, do not have a self-power entity which is not positive through the force of convention, which are other than themselves. And no matter what phenomena is positive as existing, it is positive in the context of not seeking the object imputed. Say yes. So that means so all things are dependent. We have like whole reasons, right? Dependent and dependent produced and established. Established by the way of their not established by the way of their own existence. We have all these things. So then, if you don't investigate, if you don't, so this is seeking the object only. If you don't investigate, so you can say all things are in that way. If you try to investigate, so then that thing, so normally dependence and imputed, all these things will be lost.
다드네 다 최근지네 때네 샤고 그랬어 때네 최근지 때네 샤고보다 다 최근지네 다 더실을 때네 샤고봐 간사시에티 공부하고 가야로 한지를 때네 셔기야로 더실을 때네 샤고봐 다 최근지네 더실을 때네 샤고봐 아니 랑긴 도지기 똑벌을 때네 따봐 다 정제있어 다 때네 따봐 다 때네 세티 개바세인데 유견을 때네 개바세 다 때네 세티를 랑긴 도지기 똑벌을 때네 샤고봐 더실을 때네 샤봐 아니 랑긴 유견을 때네 샤바스 유견을 때는 게봐 뭐부 강인부터 랑 유견을 때는 게봐야 돼 란도 지금 또배 샤바야래 아니 랑기 더실을 때는 샤바디야래 뭐부터 다 누가 저기 쳐도서 랑기 유견을 때는 샤바디 말이 이내야 란도 지금 또배 따바정지 랑기 더실을 때는 랑기 차셔를 때는 세지도 랑기 더실을 때는 쓰네 랑기 차셔를 때는 이 샤정데 요바티 조금 여러봐 어디 있어
So here every single phenomena is the dependent. Okay, dependent. So then here we can understand dependence in different ways. So it's like all things are dependent on mental imputation, and then all the things that all the phenomena are dependent. They depend on the basis where we impute the things, right? Basis, and they depend on causes and conditions. Okay, conditions, and they depend on parts and particles. So then, all the things are they depends on the mental imputation and basis. Basis could be different things. Basis means like basis could be parts and particles. Yeah, for instance, space. So we impute them on parts and particles. Okay, parts and particles, And then depending on causes and conditions means like that they and the cause and condition means like seed and sprout. So depending on each other. So this is one way to depend on others. So there are many ways to dependent. When we talk about dependence, that there are different ways they can actually depend on other stuff, different things.
That teacher. I think Tani only Shaban Ram Yamaris. That Ram was said the Ramana to say that Ram was said the Chibari. Chutam the Ramana to Yamarva. Ramana to Matan the Garrison to Genetini Tabarva. To Genetini Taba is Ram Yamari, Ram Maris, Shamaris, Shingung Shabarva. Chutamje Gashiti Ranga Chashalatini Shaku, Gashiti Rantochi Tobalatini Shaku, Gashi to Genetini Shaku, Shaku Bayasan Kush, Shimari, Ramameva. Ramameva Seti, Tusun Matiba Kutuya Meva, Yasan Kula Ramameva. Just Tani Shenki only Shaba Nimbe, Ramwe Mumevas. Ramwe Mumevas Rangu Mene Siati Ramevas, Ranga. Shian Matuba Ni Tubachina, Ramana Tupsi. Shian Turn it to Yasan Shenki only, Shian the Ten Tubayas. Tin Maimbachitate Shana Tene, True Magobachina, the Ramon to Tubasi. The Yamachu Gatechine Kanshi Turn to Shabu, Jasan Ramon Mari, Rangamina to Mari, Timbatuba Maris.
So when we say all things are depending on other things, so that means that they are not independent. So independent means they are independence or being independent or the self nature or the self existing are same meaning in school. Okay, same meaning. So if something is independent, so then we can tell that is self-existent or truly existent or self-existent. So since any object or anything, any phenomena, without depending on other, so they cannot come into exist. In order to come into exist, any phenomena, anything, they have to depend on other things. For instance, causes and conditions. Without depending on causes and conditions, some phenomena cannot come into exist. That's what when we say independent means that they have to. If something is independent, they have to come into existence without depending on any other factors. So that is not the case. Any phenomena that depends on other in order to come into exist. So that's why we call this. All these are dependents. They are not independent.
Chesadati Rangumene Mesiati Timber, Rangumene Mesiati, Tinkubes Suyati, Rangumene Mesiati, Rangube Rangumene Yusiati, Kurang Mura Chiarba, Mochi, Teni Shepiari, Rarami Jidan, Tinkubele Shudi. Rangu Mo Yaresi, Rangu Mo number Chugi Chini Seti, Dharma Siati, Zimba Siati, Zimba Siati Karesina, Rangu Mo Ziba, Chukari in a Rangu Mo Chiari, Yati, Rangu Mo Yenia, Rangu Mo Yenia, Rangu Mo Tuba Main Sivir, Ranguba in a Rangu Mo Tuba Seti, Chukaragi, Lepa Shabari. Kurangi mene chui yachi tuyachi yari sikiri. Tengu be lo shabatam dimishi chu kurangi mene chui tuyachi tani yamaris. Ina ani kana yamate be chitu kubri sikiri. 어디 매지다디.
So in the Prasangika Madhyamika, it said all things are merely label, or they are label for the self-existence because they are depends on other causes, conditions. Yeah. And then another school, like Satrantika Madhyamika, they said they believe they can find something from the objective side. That's why they cannot say things are true on lack of self-existence, because they believe there's something is from the objective side. That's why they cannot accept the lack of self-existence. Okay. So then in this the Prasangika Madhyamika school, Prasangika Madhyamika. So the self means, pretty much similar. We are talking about characteristic of the object, right? But in the Prasangika Madhyamika says they believe that all things are holding or having sort of like characteristic, self-characteristic, but they're saying they are not self-existent. Well, in Dharma means having self-characteristic. Dharma, and another word that means Ngozimba means Rang means self, right? Ngo means sort of like characteristic. Zimba means whole. So all things that holds their own characteristic, but they are not self. Nevertheless, they are not self-existent.
다드네 드네 있네. 지다 최탐제 시대때 강걸로를 최식이 양 문진 것에 했지. 되기야. 이내 언제 최제 세부 최디야 짐바세야디. 코아등의 손에 양 짐바르징이지. 최디를 때네. 남해제는 코아등의 손에야 짐바르지. 메동을 제가 징이지라. 먼저 최제세부 최디들이 최탐제세부 최디 그 뭐인지마다 라는 뭐지 진짜로 최시 제거리다 최시 그 최제세부 최디 지야디 가르레스는 코아등의 손에 야 짐바르지 교부증이지 지라 미 최시야.
So then the Dharma term, the term Dharma, we also use it for Dharma practice. Right? So has same meaning. In Tibetan we use the same meaning. Zimba, again Zimba. Zimba means hold, and when we refer it to as Dharma practice, it seems like a protection. Okay, so there's Zimba means holding back or protection. So then Dharma practice has that kind of quality, because when we do Dharma practice, so this actually Dharma practice holds us back from, or protect us back from the lower end and cyclic existence. That's why we use Dharma term for that kind of practice as well.
나한테 최세한테 디스들 랑이 셈디 우리 최제세 최디 랑이 셈디 차단에 봐 쉬어버리죠. 차단에 장랭도 제 먼저다 시시지벌이 쪽을 잡았는데 최세한테 댄주세 먼저 댄주세한테 최세한테 디세를 최적인 지나 댄주들 최적인 니들 때문에 들어 댄주세요. 다 디단디 최세한테 먼저 최제세한테 집에 소리지 최세한테 가rel레 최버지 그래서 뒤제 시비디 니몰레 최버지가 최진에게 간사디 최디제스는 랑기 시비디 니몰레 최버지 니몰레 니몰레 제어지버서 우리가 니몰레 장르도 제버지 뒤제 시비 니몰레 최버지 바스죠. 아니 고아다시 내송의 동네를 껴버지 바스죠. 최교서 어디지 다 최신이디 먼저 최제해야 돼. 어디 되는 거래. 개부치배 최디. 최제해야 돼. 최디 최제해야 돼. 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 nghe song le job chi given jing di chu di ko le job chi gibu chim de chu se di si shi ji ba tang je le job chi ne chu se di jasa gibu chung chu se di ne di tiba mikewale ne sone ke ati tiba mikewa hong ki yarba tiba mikewale ta simba surbe tiba mikewale kansa di shibi tiba mikewale ba chöber cheba ne sungi chibale chöber cheba
So the term dharma, so we use as dharma practice as well. So dharma or chu or phenomena, I don't know, it goes well in English, phenomena, right? Dharma, chu, phenomena, things. So like chu in Tibetan, we actually translate from dharma, Sanskrit, right? So chu has when we use it for like a dharma practice, it has a different connotation. Like chu means cut off or separate, make it separate, sort of like that. So that is like, for instance, when we do dharma practice, our mind actually gets separate from negative mental emotions, mental afflictions. So that's we're cutting back from that kind of mental attitudes. So that's what we call dharma. And then normally we have some sutra or teaching, right? Tenju. Tenju means the Buddha's teaching. That means a textbook, sort of like Buddha's teachings, or the commentary, and it could be all of this. Tenju, okay, tenju. So the tenju has to have two qualities, sort of like we call chu gyo. Okay, chu means it has to have some quality that enable us to get separate our mind from mental afflictions. This is the chu part, and the gyo means the protection. So that teaching or whatever, it has to have that kind of quality. Gyo means the protection. It has to protect from the sufferings in general, sufferings. So then chu tenju or chu gyo, chu or dharma, the dharma or the dharma, as I said, dharma. So then the when
tenju se tenju jana chu se jiba tenju se chu se jana chu se dirba ni ji ko jin ji be so ji chu se di ni min ju chu che se di min ju shi gi min wo ba le chu be che ba si ma ju si le chu be che ba se ti che.
So then Ramesh said that we have in Tibetan tenju. There's one word ju, the second word ju, and chu. They have very similar kind of meanings. Okay, means like a cut off or separation, stuff like that. So then dharma. So dharma could be many different things. Like dharma, it actually related to small scope, small practitioner, small faculty kind of practitioner. And the middling and the advanced, the small scope, they get protection from lower realms, and then the middling scope, they get protection from samsara existence, and then the advanced scope practitioners, they get protection from complete protection from samsara and peace. That peace means the very strong kind of blissful kind of sensation. So they get from that kind of completely get protection from these two things.
내 최 탐제세지 최 탐제세지 알바 디 최디 이제 최제세야 최디다 카가리
So
Bumbar of Chini, choose here. The caress could Dharma said in Zimba City, Frank more heavy Yarba, and were added Bumbai in a Bumba Muji, in Zimba Chigera, which you said together.
So the Dharma or Che Tibetan, we use Che for phenomena and Che for Dharma practice. We use this word for both. So that's why when we use it for like phenomena, we take it as a different meaning. Okay? That means like having self characteristic.
That is it. That in a Narishebe. Dele do din Zimbani, din Jische. Dele do din Zimbasi. Niba dele do din Zimbasi, Chue Tangje, then a Taba Maiba. Then a Shaba Maiba. That is true. Shanna Dona to a Maiba, Inata, Maiba Chinzi, Sonata, Temba Zimbas. Dele do de Zimbani, Dinzi, Dembani, Star Dinzi, Dele and Dotin Zimbi, Dinzi, Dembani, Tower, the shared. Dele Dotin Zimbati, Dinzi, Dembati, Nari Shebe, Mingi, Tani, Onzangi, Shaban, Mimbe, Yoban Zimbati, that Dinzi is here. That Dinzi is here, Nari Shebe, Mingi Tazam is Suma. Chetan Mingi Tazam, Nangayam Mingi Tabare, Tazam Sui, Nindam is Chevrolet. Tana Shevet, Mingi Tiny, Onzam, Shaba, Mimbi, Yoban Zimbani, Yambatang, Tambatang, Yandabatang, Rangi Mutang, Rangi Tingi Tang, Rangi Nutuba. Rangi Tingi Jituba, Rangi Yovan Zimbati, Zimbal Hengi, Denji Hengi, Tiga Kanga Denji Hengi is Tingi.
So now we move to the next outline, the conception of true existence that conceives the opposite of this. So the conception of existence non-positive merely through the force of nominal convention explained above is the innate conception of true establish. Okay, so that will be the Denzil Henge. Denzil Henge means innate self-grasping. In other words, that means the innate self-grasping. So earlier I mentioned that all the things are merely labeled, merely they just merely kind of exist, just merely depending on others. Instead of that, we have used bunch how things are not truly exist. Explains like how things are not truly exist. If something is opposite of that, okay, so that means like not independent or not just merely labeled, having some quality from the objective side. Right? If this is the case, then we call it Dempa. Dempa means true. The Dempa means truly exist. Then Dempa means Dempa. Oh, Dempa is truly exist, right? Dempa truly establish. Then Dempa means Dempa truly exist. Then truly exist. I don't know. Yandaba. How to translate this in here? Yes, he says ultimate establish. Okay, Dempa. Yes, ultimate establish Dempa or establish as the object's own. Dempa. Okay, as well as the innate conception of existence, where the object on entity exists with long explanation. Existing inherently. Yandaba Rangituba. This is young. Existing inherently means Rangunituba. Anyway, all of these are same meaning in this school. Let's try to tell that this will be the same meaning in this school.
There is no issue. Tabata Sung Tense, there is no issue. Rangun Trubran, Rangun Trubran Zimba Loti Shinti, Rangun Trubati Shop. Rangun Trubati, Tabata Sung, tenpa chubi tse di diri chibri. Taba tasun se gadi yuwa ina, ane kana yang matu bachi chubi rangu mene chubi yari, tenpa chubi yari. Chidang tenpa chubi te yamarwa, dini ya tenji ki shengi di yamari, tenji ki shengi di tenrubi tse yin sikimebe, tenrubi yamari, kul tenrubi tse shaake yamari. Di taba tesungi tenche situ, tenpa chume tenpe chi chukubri yasayati di tenrubi tse, taba tesungi tenche yin sikimebe.
So the
Chumna, kana yang matuba chukubri yari. Wati taba tesungi tenche yin, taba tesungi sayati. Kati yueba yana taba tesungi chabri. Kati yueba yana tenche chi chukubri yasi. Tenpa chuba yasuna tenche chi chukubri. Kana yang matuba chukubri yasi. Di yama di taba tesungi tenche yasi.
So here the referent object conceived by the consciousness is the hypothetical measure of true establishment. Hypothetical, tapatasun. Tapatasun means hypothetical means tapatasun, same tapatasun. So here it is not saying that all the truly exist objects are like are independent or they are not merely labeled. It's not saying that. They're saying if making if hypothetical hypothetically, if things exist, it should be exist in that way, independent or not merely labeled and so on. But this is not actually describing the quality of the truly existing phenomena.
Tene gajala tuandam ki kebara charve, tuandam la chui xie kubani diriyang tas. Tam gajala tuandam ki kebara charve, tuandam la ni yubati umarang yube kubs xie suna yube. Tusum kusum giri xie la tuandam tu cheba tangne. Tenpa chuba la tuandam chuba as cheba ni xie suna. Wati yubati tenki belu le ti jibari is. Gajala tuandam chare keba cheba tuandam ni yukubati umara yubala kondu sheba imba li yuban nashi umar tenki belula yang tuandam tu trup siyate tuandam tali ni shaguri yeki tuandam tang yujingi tuandam.
So then the next paragraph continues. The need to know the two moods. Need to know the two moods of ultimate in the qualification of the object of negation, where the term ultimately is also the same here in the Prasangika school as the Satrantika school, explained in the previous chapter. So that means the ultimately, or the Tendam to Yoba. Tendam to Yoba means ultimately exists. Anyway, so that means that there's two ways to explain. So Tendam to Yoba Keva, Tendam to Yoba say the Gajagi Tendam to Xiao, right? Gajagi, let's
Keva Jerry. Then number Nancy, then number Nancy to some Gajal to Keva Jerry. He judged me as Gay to some consumed with his shield at Tendam Chene. Didn't know never at number Nancy. Tembatubala Tendam Chene. There Tembatuma Nebala. There Nebala, Tendam Nancy.
So this that means this is actually talking about object of negation. Okay, object of negation. There are two types of object of negation. So one object of negation is negated, negated or abandoned. So here it says all the things are lack of truly exist. Okay, so truly exist. Truly in Tibetan is a Tuandam, right? Tuandam. We use this Tuandam for this. Tuandam is little Tuandam is the true, right? True. So, but the we this is in I think it's in Tibetan. Get confused like what that could mean, something like anyway. So the Tuandam. So there are two. We need to apply that Tuandam or the truly existing in two different ways. Like one is on that all the things are naturally, lack of or the empty of object to be negated, or another word that means that they are empty of self-existent. Okay, so then another object to be negated, or the object to be negated, or the empty of truly existing will be understand through your training, sort of training. So once you develop your mind and you see an object, so at that moment you are actually negating something, removing truly existing quality from something, from your practice. So this is another type of object to be negated.
다디 당감에 된담 처섬 고숨 그 리실라 된담도 제바티 야리 게리 여바들이야 내바지야다 딩모 여발라 니 예니지야리 내니지야리 치매 된담도 야마리 담바주발라 된담도 제바인가 된다 담발라 된담 된담바 제바티가 이 야마리
유가
이 유라 유도 담바세지 제 유진도 담바세지
영에도 내게 니어를 나오는데 영에도 내게 니어를
로 된담바 로 파베 냠샤 이시를 쓰는데 이샤 냠샤 이시비 뭐 예니지다 내니지야 동이 간가 로베 파베 냠샤 이시 뭐 야리 디 예니 들바 소소기 최디게 로베 파베 냠샤 이시 뭐 야마리 디 여바디 얘는 덴바 주주야 딩가저리 어째서 소소기 최는 로베 냠샤 이시 뭐 해바디 동반이 여바디 덴바 주주 얘는 덴바 주주가 어째서 딩가저리 덴좀 켜바지면
So primarily it's talking about like there are two types of lack of truly existence, sort of like. Yeah. So here, let's say an object. The objects are we say lack of truly existence, right? So that lack of truly existence, okay? Truly existent and the lack of truly existence. We have two things like object being truly exist and lack of truly exist. Right? Object being truly exists is never been exist. Okay, even though this is like object to be negated, but never exist. It's not true or never exist, sort of like. But to the mind, sort of the mind, the things being truly exist is exist, right? Exist. Okay, but that is also object to be negated. Okay. So there are two kinds. Again, there are two kinds. I don't know how to make distinguish, but I will just say what we just said. Okay, there are two kinds of that. So, for instance, a being who is in like a single-pointed meditation, ecopos, right? For that perception, all the things like your vast and form are not exist, right? Not exist. But for that mind, the ultimate nature is exist. Okay, ultimate nature is exist. Then if something is exist, if something is perceived by that mind, the single pointed concentration and that kind of mind, that kind of mind, if something exists by that mind, it has to be true. Okay.
나다티 이게 강기 된지 잡아 준 가봐매가 깨매가 채봐매가 따매가 세체로 이 로베냠샤이시 뭐 강기 된지 잡아 준 가봐매가 깨매가 저는 담발 가봐 네 가봐매가 로베냠샤이시 뭐 최대의 메시게 그래서 그래. 이게 가방에가 김에가 처방에가 담에가 홍어에가 로메가 세제르바 어디 메시아디 로베냠샤 이시고를 제주지에 로베님샤 이시 지다 최탐제 굉장히 최는 껴와야 돼 가봐야르바 로베냠샤 이시고는 뭐부는 껴와야 가봐야 어디 가봐매 깨매 봤어. 이 전에 담을 껴와야만 가봐지. 로뱅야샤이시 된담도 전에 이 모르 매가 뒤스제 샤야지 어디 단지디 전담라 이 유진도 된 바세. 전에 담을 매세야 되라. 유진 로뱅야샤이시 매바들라. 담바 매세지 동이스 동이 디가르레스네 동이샤이디 소소기 최도소 로베냠샤이시 모이는 담바투투 로베냠샤이시 그 소소기 최대 담바투마투 제르바 제드 담바 로베냠샤이시 모이는 제드 담바 대부야 제바 제인데 담바 로베냠샤이시 니고야 니스는 담바투 담바투마투 제바 디에스는 담바 매베니리야 로베냠샤이 수 담바투마투 제바나 수니기야 말 수 많이 받이야 마토한테는 토하 담바이지 돈이네 돈이도 베리시 돈담제 베리시 최탐제 담바투마투 제바나 냉에 받다가 돈이 있어요. 뒤도 인도 돈이 더 있어요. 지 로베냠샤이시 뭐 이어서는 그때 맞추죠. 소소지 제가 나바메가 봤어야지.
So and there's a prayer. It's the Gakwa means no cessation, no Kewa means no rising, Joa means no goer, Wong means no coming, no coming, so no coming, no going, and it's a bunch of no's, right? So this I know this is actually refers to refers to a mind that sees emptiness directly in like a very deep meditative absorption. Yeah. So according to that mind, that perception, there's no cessation, no rising, no go, no coming, going, coming, and so on. So because it's not perception of that. All these things are not perception of that mind, that the wisdom mind, because that mind is going through a series of investigation. Okay, so investigation is whether they are truly exist or not. If looking into like if they are truly exist or not, right? They're going through a really serious kind of analytical kind of process. So if they find it, if they find like goal or any form or vase or anything, so that object becomes truly exist. If something that perceived by that mind, it has to be truly exist. That's why, since all these things are not truly exist, so that mind cannot actually find it, cannot perceive these objects.
Hadi 가자를 된다는 게 개발자에 된답니다. 이 여바티 집어제 오만 땡기가 다 땡기니까 집어제 뒤랑 6년이 শেষ나 어디 조선 공부
So
단담도 제레스 뜻이 세송아
this explanation is very similar to Satantika school as well. It's been already explained.
다티죠 다티니 그네 다티네 니가 드리안달라스 우마란 주반남 템바 소 숨주가 시자라 미시바 시장 다 엄마랑 주베게 뒤뜰에 셔송아 챙기벨루라 주셔송아 다가 뛰다가 템바당 템바르 주바다 양타바 주바다 랑궁을 주바 랑게 챙이 주바 랑신게 주바 남 여번지 바 땡지 행기 인스송아 주 어디 엄마랑 주베 아니 담보 숨디 엄마랑 주베는 템바소 숨도 주바 시자라 미시스 디 템바 주반 디 땡지 인스기야 템바 주바 담바 주바 야다바 주반 템바 디 땡지 인스 다 랑궁을 주바소 랑궁을 주바스 랑게 챙이 주바 랑시 기요한 템바디 땡기 별로 땡지 행기 봐 레딘디 랑기 별로 디 로딘디 레시기 랑궁을 주바소 무슨 타니도 여가 시디스 랑게 챙이 랑궁을 주바야레 랑게 챙이 주바야레 랑 랑시도 주바야리스 랑기 별로라
So now this goes on. However, although the Satantika Madhyamika asserts that true, ultimate, and real established do not occur in object of knowledge, okay, knowledge. That means earlier we met in this text we met 6 different statements how things are not truly exist. If you look at the number 1 and 2, 3, we're supposed to have 6 of them here. Okay, so the must be dependently, where is this? Okay, so true, right? True, because they are dependently imputed. Okay, Rangshigi Yoba. Anyway, so we make like 6 of them here. They're supposed to be 6. So according to this school, every single these things are same meaning. But in the Satantika school, they take different meanings. Okay, they explain in a different way, sort of like. Now the true, ultimate, real, established do not occur. This is same thing as Satantika, okay, and Madhyamika, right? Assert that 3 established by the way of 3 objects on and okay. Now the on entity established, okay, on entity established by way of objects on characters, okay, and inherent established. So these are, so even though in this school these are lack of truly existing, truly existing. But according to the Satantika Madhyamika, they accept on entity established by the way of its own characters. Okay, they are not empty. Okay, inherent established. So because they believe in the external things, that's what they have. They cannot actually accept lack of on entity or lack of established by the way of its own character and inherent establishment.
다디 타니도 여벌 시대 대코는 신도 차와 리시라 대나도 차와레라 리시라 대나도 또 미니바남 텔레티베 탑라 켜바 전부 통 다디 우마랑 집에 셔바디 일단 저는 담바도 숨 저는 담바도 봐요 내가 저리 숨 담부 숨도 두바도 가지 치마 숨도 두바도 가지 말이세야디 다 대권 신도 차와대 챙기베 따와리야 중만에 배치하라 대권은 신도 차와 대시라 중민에 봐 그래야 이 달라도 또베 대권은 신도 차와디 달라도 또베 아니 집에 탑지레스 이 담보티 랑기베 다와티 치시기는 남산 팅기베 다와티 신도 잡아지려 봐. 되려 아니 리시 팅기베 다와도 고민용이 되려 이 랑기베 다와티 시 되니 야지네니 치기나 팅기베 다와티 치기나 아니 되라도 주야기 특별지리 도시 기베 급수 담보숨도 주바디 야리스 치마숨도 주바디 야마리 야리스 담보숨도 주바디 야마리스 제니 가제 참마 마리스 제거 다시 시에버디 리시 신도 쳐가 땡기베 따와를 팀미리가 두수 아니 바신디야 티야 특별지리 있지.
So then text goes on, it says, this is seen as very skillful means for leading those who are temporarily unable to realize easily the very subtle suchness to that realization of suchness. Okay, now we have 6 of them. They make like in a statement, six of them, how things are not truly exist. They have like 6, reasons, sort of like 6 reasons, right? So the the Saptantika Madhyamika is designed for someone who is not, that the school is a very good, or the design for someone who is not ready to take all 6 of them as example or reason things are lack of true existence. So according to Saptantika Madhyamika, so the first 3 are object to be negated, but the latter 3 are something they can posit, something they can assert or establish. So that's why they say these latter 3 are not object to be negated. So then this is a skillful method to lead someone who is not ready for this Prasangika Madhyamika, which is much subtler than the Saptantika view.
어다디 더럽게 친구 어다디 당연히 tengibe tawati sheindu toben tenje chozamla ani shagure silabje tenje chozamla shagure meshujigi ani dire shendu gene 제주지야 말했을때 로라 최탐제 로라 나왔던 다그라는 샤니 주주리스 텐지 초점 디디 텐지 초점 되니 디지도 좀봐 니 그네 냐와를 계셔야지 텐지 초점을 냐와를 계워야 샤그레 있을도 좀봐 그네 냐와를 계발을 텐지 가르가르 초그레스니까 디파사나 소주나 마진바네나 수제레이나 근데 다 땡지 초수나 아니 냐와리 지기리 시작으로 이제 좀 되니 안 되니 소주발은 도야기 편도 인구야 tempat nyawa le kese ati pe tambune nyawa rangi kese gi nyawa ti pe tu ji mebre tende to samsune ku nyawa le kese gari nyawa ji tu ji pe sha dina le ke ati mebre ati yesane ani rangi wali tende ti ke chosune nyawa le ki gari sine tende ti ma chobe thalu de gari ba 다 소주 디버제스나 냐와리 기그리 냐와리 기야다 덴데티 소요나 디버제 덴 디버제바다 수베제 다 덴데지 초요나 아니 냐와리 기그리 있으든가 덴 디버지 제인 좀다 남사 다지 디지기메 냐와리기야 땡데티 초스는 냐와리기 요성거봐 딩게 땡데 초점라 아니 Nyawali Jeva Shasiyati, Nyawali Jesiyati, Tendi Nyawali Jevati Shagiyati. Nyawasiyati, Tambukuni, Tutuji Che, Tichu Yodevati Machi. Rana Nyawajiyati, Tendi Chosams, Tiji Chosuna, Nyawali Jevati. Inguri Sirva. What the Insan, Tijitumba, Tendi Matsuka Tabigiri. Sanji Jukuan said, Tendi Chosum to Shabsis. In a rangi, Ran Sanji said, Manduke, Sarajikumbi, and Haratikuni, Sati, Latuga, Jevin, Tambu, Tomber, Chichan, Tombena, Netini, Chia. Suki, Tenia, Kuti, Tenia, Setan, Tinde, Tapa, Tindi Jebel Jenny, Sabribe Hasham Banashi, Sabribe not the Tambu Tiji, Tinia, Terrible Titi, Ni, Tugaishi, Kudanich to Gurva. Now to send between Sadi. Tidiarita. Tinesiaya, Tinisukun, Namshijina, Raisiku, Tubiarba. Tugaishikuti, Yuvache, Tirang Chile, Yachi could get number. The Insani, Tugaishikulu said. Tugaku Ishikulu, the Rashiku to of China. Tambukuni Pig Yubiche, Rang Tobjek Bituga Shikuriti, and she Bitubina. Tambuni Pay, Ganama to Pay to Tibis. Anything I'm seen around the trees. You be this visitor. Never. Tugai Shikulu said the Rang Tobjek to Shikuriti. Rang attended so than the tenant to be a Tugai Shikulu. More drunk Yaba. What I tend to try at the carriers in Marangi, Kiwatuya, to switch Jenny Kurang to Yagi charging the Kiwatu Sutubalateni, Ranti, Tugaish couldn't to wear. Tugaku Ishikuti, eager to the jet. The young chief dealer to Yati Nebra. Tinico Rangin to a sexy to the year. The Sata, Mududi. Chetan the Tented Sotan, then it to us, the Siena, Nyawaki, the Tented Sotan, then it to City, then the Matso, the Tablet year. Sanji Jukuban said, Sanji, Tambune took the Ran Lea Meba. Rangi tended Sotan, tended Soba, tended to days. Sanji Jukuban, Sanji Kubasi at the Temple of my son. Tended Soba, tended to Julia San, tended Soba, tended till big river. Sanji Jukuban to Yagi. Tamang till big river. Many Sanji Jukubanti Temba to Vaina, Langman to Vaina, could do to have today. Then it beg would never retire. And they do to Ziran Teresa. So you have the solicitor to be Arba. What is that? Is Shevaina Jundela. Who met our the Yapati Shevaina, Jundela never Cheruto said. Pakatu Jan rushing mails to Junde La Tea Meberich. Pat Kuyao Surgery. The Yabu Yabu Jason Junde didn't Cheverich. No, that is it.
So in the text it said the very subtle suchness, right? Subtle suchness. So the Prasangiga Madhyamika view is very subtle, and of course it's difficult to understand or apprehend. So if, let's say, if you're able to understand that, so then how things are merely level, or in other words, how things are dependence. So then, so if you understand that, you feel that sort of thing. If you understand means like, so really understand that. Okay. So then that actually and helps us not to commit any non-virtuous actions, because so for instance, we always have a fear that being born into lower realms. So then you will see how lower realm, or especially hell realm, so that it come into exist. So you can see these are actually coming to exist because of depending on other things, right? Other things. You can say like causes and condition or other things. Yeah, other things. So then, if you know how things are dependent, like, and then because of the dependence they come into exist, so then you can see that, so that hell realm can be avoided, because if you break one of these causes and condition, or thing that actually will impute hell realm, so if you take up one of these, so then you can avoid hell realm. So then, because of it happens, it happens because of understanding how things are dependent, or how things are merely level. So this is like, for instance, when we look at the causes condition, what are actually, how did that the hell realms come into being? So when we look, so then you will see like, oh, because of my non-virtuous actions, I killing killing, stealing, so on. So you will see all this is the things that are going to come into exist. So then we project, or we label it as a hell realm, right? So then if you take out one of these, you cannot have that. So that's why if you understand really the meaning of how things are, the meaning or the view of the Prasangika Madhyamika, so that understanding will force you not to commit any non-virtuous actions. Yeah? So similar like that, then because of this understanding, the view of this Prasangika Madhyamika, so it will give you a hope. So there's something, hope, or it makes you, then all the Buddhahood is like becomes very accessible. So then you know that how Buddha is actually coming to exist. So then you are looking for like the causes and conditions for that. So then if you look at the causes and condition, if you are able to collect all these causes and condition, put them together, so you have Buddhahood right there. So that's why if you understand that, so it actually forces us to put more effort to acquire all these causes and conditions for Buddhahood. So that's why, so then, so if you understand this, that actually helps you not to engage in negative actions, and helps you to engage in more virtuous actions. Yeah. So otherwise, if we just take it as the words, say like, so that means all things are not truly exist, things are lack of truly existence. If you go that kind of things, so that can actually, if you don't understand perfectly the right view of the Prasangika Madhyamika, so there is a danger for that. So you may think like, oh, all things are to level truly existing, self-existing. You have a bunch of these things, right? Like empty of these things. If you say that, and then at the deep in your mind, you may think like they are not exist. If you have that, view, or if you feel that, all things are not exist, so then you don't put effort to avoid hell realm and to gain Buddhahood. So that's why when we say lack of truly existence, you need to understand the right view of the Prasangika Madhyamika. If you know that, there are a lot of benefit. If you take it as a mistake, not the wrong way, so there are more danger. There's also danger.
Chida sanje sige yarba. Yine rang thonje ki sanje se ti. Rang yige ya sanje goba mato bato yamarba. Ti rang ti yarba.
So then we need to say there is enlightened the attainment, or the Buddhahood, sort of Buddhahood. So there's something we can travel towards, and we can achieve that. And also Rinpoche mentioned earlier, for instance, he take an example of a White Tara practice. Let's say like a White Tara, if you decide to become a Buddha in White Tara form, So then, how that is possible? By using this logic, your logic or the view from the Prasangika Madhyamika. Okay, so you can think. So then we put like all these causes and conditions, like so you're going through like a dissolution process, and then deep, enter into deep emptiness. So then you arise in the form of white Tara, and you go through this kind of ritual. This is actually the causes and condition for that attainment, right? Attainment. So this is very similar, like Rinpoche was saying, tanka maker. So when they write, they make a tanka. When they draw a tanka, so they start from the scratch. There's nothing on this canvas. There's nothing. So they put line, they draw an image, they put color, and eventually they will have a picture of this deity. Similar, like we need to do the same thing. We need to build it up from the basic. It's not. You should not imagine. You should not think that white Tara is somewhere and you go there, you get that white Tara. So you have to create that white Tara by yourself and make it from the scratch. So
they started it. But they said that. That. 하여튼 내가 그리고 돌렸어.
tadi kasabi the yatia di ani this color ganju betawa di mai kasabi ganju betawa di teju betawa le tia di res
제가 털을 캐봐 전부 통서 대대샷.
So we'll end here. We'll stop here. Okay.
다대스는 좋아지니시다.
Okay. Let's have one or two questions. Okay.
So my question is like you say true existence and non-existence. So you say like the
True
Buddha,
existent and non-existent. Okay.
So the Buddha's mind is true existence. So all the actions of the
Buddha's mind is true existent.
The Buddha's holy mind is true existence. All the things that come from the Buddha's holy mind are true existent. They say like things that are created by our mind are true existent, but things that are created by our bodies are non-existent.
Did I say that?
You say like the Buddha's mind.
Buddha mind. Okay.
Everything that created by Buddha's holy mind is true.
Everything
existent.
created by Buddha holy mind.
Yeah, it's true existent because he's already investigated everything. But things created by Buddha's holy body is non-existent.
아니 그런 다 갈리는 게 되는 란쯤 그런 데도 보셔. 아니 상계기 시제이나 참아 아니 다시 두고 댐버 두고 됐어. 다시.
시제 demotу 짠이야 말이 산적이 시제네. 심적이 시제네. demotу 짠이야 말이.
So Ramesh said, no matter who perceives things, whoever, so there's no things that truly exist. I don't know. Sorry.
But if the Buddha, let's say the Buddha's mind, right? When you become a Buddha, right? You don't depend on anybody else, right? Your mind doesn't.
You sure you don't depend on anybody else?
Your mind doesn't depend on anybody
Okay.
else. So
Yeah.
you become independent. Your mind becomes like
Okay.
independent.
Okay.
So that means like if he's independent, so
It's
you think-
independent. You think the Buddha is independent because they
Yeah,
don't
Buddha's
depend on anybody.
mind,
Okay.
yeah.
So that's why it becomes truly existent.
Yes, true.
Okay. This is what 상계요라.
음.
상계 수질 때고 말해서 라와래서. 아니 랑식이 사람 술 때먹어 술 드시면 랑식이 두번 와서.
산적 때문에 산적 연대를 땐들이 연대면은 산적 내가 산적 때 산적 연대를 땐들었다. 산적 연대면은 산적 잘 배워.
So Rinpoche said Buddha has to depend on other things, like Buddha has to depend on his own realizations. If he doesn't have any realization, we don't call that he's a Buddha. Or realization or attainment.
Okay.
나도 다 산적이부터 개발 시야도 그랬으면 산적이 연대 용수도 받들어가. 연대 용수도 받들어서는 연대들 때문에 때문에 산적이
So the-
산적 시야.
So main differences between ordinary being and Buddha is that Buddha is someone who has complete his training and obtained into whole realizations. That's what we call it Buddha. So if he doesn't have that, any, if he doesn't, if the Buddha doesn't depend on his realization of quality, so then we don't call it Buddha.
Sangye di geji dame sun cho sabala teni tu shagrava.
And also Buddhas depend on three countless practice.
Sangye di shinda yina sangye si tambu ne sangye teni ji kelin yaraba ken yaraba. Namba ke siya di sangye singi di tambu kurang teni ya pe. Ani ji bangje tusu ringi pa. Ani ji bangje puji ki chula ringi shi lo ni teni ya pe shabi ji dugi yari. Tambu nganzu te jiba je pe lenyu ki shiwa jen ji je. Teni ji chuna ni ringi susu nimba tusu nimba tingi nimba tiani meba subi chine sanje kuba nimbarwa insa munju sanje ki tembe lamdi sanje kurang di nyongdo ne pe chungsha ji da ngajole tingi yari chadan nyomon jombala tingi jibu Kurangi, ani nyomo batu su pondu jamba nyomo batu su ki shiwantu juda, te kange cheta. Tile tene ani nyomo batu su la takshi ji, panya ki tabla beita. Tile tene ani nganzu ti Kurang jogarwa. Tina shinji ne nganzu la Kurangi, nyom soro kaan yobati nganzu la tingi yare. Chesa ti, ani
So in other tradition or the other religion, so by other religion, they believe creator. So that creator is independent and permanent and been there from the beginningless, or been there from the beginningless, sort of, so that. So in in our Buddhist traditions, we don't believe in that kind of creator, independent. Sometimes they call it singularity, what's it, source or something like that. Anyway, so it's independent sort of a thing, right? So we don't believe that. So the Buddha is someone is like, for instance, the Buddha is someone who has been like us, once. Like ordinary being, has all these mental afflictions, then he went through this kind of training, he eliminated, and he found the path, he eliminated all these, and he also found how to eliminate mental emotion, mental affliction, and so on. So then through that practice for a long time, so then he become a Buddha. So we accept Buddha is something, who has been through training. Okay? So then become a Buddha. So then that Buddha is not actually independent, and then the permanent independent has been there from it's not been there from beginningless.
That shinda ina that sangye tambu ne sangye tene kanne tani nyoma nyungi tambu ne sangye de ba ti sang ani chi kanne nyoma nyurwa ani ti kanne se tamam di ni
So in Buddhism, we don't accept belief in the creator, okay, creator. So if we believe in a creator, so that means like we are believing someone who has never been through sufferings, never actually experienced suffering, so it's been there forever there, right? So then if we say that, hypothetically, if somebody's like that, right, someone who never been suffering, so then that person cannot actually tell how suffering looks like and how can suffering can be removed. So because that person or anyway, so that person never been experienced suffering, so that's why they cannot actually describe how suffering looks like, and they cannot tell how that can be removed.
Then it touches.
Okay. Second.
We have often talked about the colors of the blinks, and that an illusory body takes a form, and that's a rainbow body. So you have to make up your own colors when you build this up, or
I see.
do you stick to what the different colors are?
Kalau di sana pernah hai ni juga government ni cuma, pernah drama gitu kan, yang semua lah. Kalau wegur Korea ada di luar, tapi kado di susu di job susu di cewek selalu ada. Tapi kado di susu kari suene digre susu dewa kado suene digre. Yes, you can do that.
지주 들어갔으면 돼. 남편만 부야리. 들어가셔야 되지. number 찍된 샤바티 다 찍고 샤로와. 지다 남편만 부야리.
So remember said the white Tara, for instance, white Tara can have different aspect. You know, so it's not only one aspect. She can take on like a different aspect. So that's why, you know, why not? Yeah.
Why not?
Okay, we have 3 people. Okay.
Can you just repeat her question?
Repeat the limited question. I don't think I can
She
repeat.
wanted to know if you can create your own
Yes.
colors for your own rainbow body.
Okay. Yeah.
First, confident I'm speaking really on my behalf, express some gratitude for great generosity and kindness on Berkshire's behalf in benefiting us in the teaching
Oh, okay.
secretaries.
Okay.
And also to you, thank you very much. My question would be, as we close out, if we're able to establish some intellectual certainty in emptiness, what are some specific advice, some best means for deepening this understanding? And also, how can we also approach directly touching on emptiness?
저거는 이제 그냥 다음에 터지 제시오 인생 아니야. 네 나머지 상황 터지 제시죠. 앞으로 하나디 내가 좀더 가려고 그래. 파주인데 롭지치 인데치인데 아니 내내 터는 가서다 돈이디 대주면 뭐 돈이 벌 되는 거 켜버렸어. 또 돈이디 띵사고 하고 봐야 되는데 제가 그냥 남는다고 저 고주고 있는 간대치는 고주고나 간대를 딱 칼도 그런데 그거 문에 패고 지어 간대치는 야가 있었어.
뒤집어 수미야리 랑 초사 tip장 세지. 베나 사변들이 아니 붙게발라 추다비가 소바티 구이야. 네 사변 쿠란지 구이야. 아니 사변 쿠란 그 최디다 동반이 따지 민남 교야들이 아니 추다비 그 최디는 초사 tip장 동이 또 야기 치도 초사 tip장지야. 아니 라멘은 조금이야. 어디 숨지 그제베 숨 민남 교야. 베나 전주 그 셈으로 지네 전주 그 셈이 민남 교야. 아니 전주 그 셈들랑 유리 기베치 초사 tip장지야. 아니 라멘은 조금이야. 어디
남는 조금에 숨바들래.
숨을 그 당부스 겨울 말이지 숨쉬는 뒤에 어째서 숨지셔야지 라마는 숨이야래. 그래서 아니 어제 진짜 지구 야랬어. 민놈 장자 좀 되니야. 사변들 추마들나 약간 끼게 말봐. 민놈 장자 직장 되니야 시작이 야제들네 그랬네. 소산 집장 지유나 민놈 중기 소산 집장을 인보이나 아니 사변들이 야 누구 지구로 봐. 사변 야부지제 들 치료 접수나 아니 사변들이 누구 지구로 봐. 사변 거래주고 우리 샤샤베이나 아니 소산 집장을 내베이는 되지. 기가와야 봐. 어디 지사
So yes, first you need to plant a seed in your mind, right? So this is a work very like conventional kind of seed. They grow sprout in the ground and put like and adding all this water and moist and water and fertilizers and stuff like that. Works very similar to that. Yeah? So first you need to plant a seed. So planting a seed is like actual doing meditation on emptiness. You need to take do meditation on emptiness. This is like a planting a seed. So, but just planting seed is not enough. For instance, like if there's a dry in the ground, if you put seed, it will not grow, right? In order to grow, in order to grow a sprout, so you need to put water and fertilizer and stuff like that. Similar like that. So then you need to engage in another form of practice like accumulation and the purification. Okay, so then if you do purification and accumulation is, for instance, you can do like and also let me say, yeah, there are three things you need to do. All the lama, previous lama, they actually mentioned that in order to meditate on emptiness, you need to keep in three things in your mind. Keep in your mind three things. First is that you need to plant a seed. Okay. So then next you need to engage in purification and accumulation of practice. Okay, so this is like adding water, right? And then this third one is you need to practice the guru yoga. Okay, guru yoga. So if you do these three things, so then so you're not. If you just do meditation, it said it is not sufficient. It is not enough to understand emptiness. It requires supporting the practice of purification and the accumulation.
아니 먼저 대야래 다도 추중이 안달라네 진보 동을 주신이지 된 거지 서바 공지 뒤에 교환 전주도 좋아지지 용수무스 다 교환네 안난도 동이도 배다와디 교환만 보기네 공지제니 아니 로부기야 인사니 교환들의 이제 교환 시행도 동이게 따왔던 mental이도 진바당이야 교환 시행도 동이게 따왔던 공지제가라 안한 줄로 지 추적에 튕기면은 동이게 따와 서투야 말와 진바동이야 아니 지 가르쳐 그래 진바동시 심제가 미비닝지스 진바동 버주시 니지 템버지스 니지 kum야 아니 서바 kum지 디게와 서바 kum버지와 아니 리 덴주리 덴상 야부치도 야기치도 서바 kum바 서바 kum스는 니 덴상 야부투비야 아니 교 당번남기 지 가부지야지 뒤중에 아니就是또 얘기 따고 그냥 더 재산 전주 선반남기 뒤지게 야리스게 교화들에 또 얘기 따와 저 교화 시행도 지금 또 얘기 따와도 만들어 치도 된주 대상 투리지 수준수 근데 된지 대상이 된지 수준 투내야 아니 롱주 지기 답에 따와 투할 롱주 차징이 구비하러 봐 뒤치도 진바다 아니 심지어 신뢰양 인지군 뒤태바 진비 남도 들어가라 인지 공급이 아니 서바 공급이 서바 공야디 네 밥에 좋은 음식들이 라니 니에바지 디우리야다 서바 지 대상부 야부지나 서베 제신 주 담발라 신도라 서베 제신 주 서바 공무스나 저와 치마들라 대상부 류제바제바 첸딜레이네 서바 공베나 아니 서바 마구나 교와트 좀 주거라 다 돈버지 교와트 돈이도베 교와트 콘주베 좀 미니제버리 계자신 아니 짐발라 소베 계자 티엔데 콘루라 소베 좀 미야르바 데티 서바 कुमियाति करसा लुई जेबाइनया दिए तुनी के तवा कुमियाति जो छिमना तुनी के तवा जिमे छबा कुमियाति याला ची वतिन देती इना यार देती खसामन जुति मा 충자 जिमे छिमबा दिने दि단 दि게 यार 교와 현도 제대로 탑시지야 교와 현도 탑시지야
Actually, it mentioned in the how to practice. It mentioned in the root text. We skip that part. That's why we skip that part. So then they explain how you carry out these practices. I don't know to read through the text, but I don't think I will find it anyway. So it said. So we as an ordinary being maybe we might need to take a series of human rebirth, human life in order to understand emptiness. Yeah. So then if that is the case, so we need to get ready for our future lives. We need to design sort of like our future life that is actually appropriate for the emptiness practice. Okay, so then also in the text it mentions, so you need to engage in practice of morality. So practice of morality ensure us to gain the human rebirth in the future. So practice of morality is the main factor of our human rebirth. Okay, human rebirth. That's why we do that. So then being born as a human is not enough. So we need a right facility. So we need to have a sort of like easy life, not hardship kind of life, right? If it's so difficult, so then you don't have time for practices. So it's like a little bit easier. So to make it a little bit easier, so then we need to practice in the practice of generosity. So that generosity has to be the Mahayana generosity practice, sort of like it has to be. You need to take it. You need to you need to practice that kind of generosity with your compassionate mind. Okay, compassionate mind. Then that becomes Mahayana practice. So then, if you engage in practice of generosity, so that actually ensures us to have a better life, something like the easy life sort of life. So then we have enough time for the practices. Okay. So then the third factor is called patience. Patience is not being jealous on others, virtuous deeds and stuff like that, right? Patience, or not being really angry with other people. Patience. So patience, if you know, so patience is very important because otherwise, if we don't be patient with our difficulties and stuff like that, if you lose that patience, so then if you lose that patience, so then that opposite mind of patience can actually destroy our virtues. Okay, virtues stuff. It said that if you accumulate virtues by meditating on emptiness, that virtue cannot be destroyed by all these other mental afflictions, but the rest of them are the virtues that been created other than that accumulate by other than the meditating on emptiness, can destroy by a single moment of anger. Okay? That's why in order to protect that, so then we need to practice patience. Patience. Okay? And also one of the quality of patience is that if you be patient, if you have to practice patience, sort of like that actually pleases all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and noble beings. So if you please them, so then you have a more chance or more opportunity to see noble beings. So then you can get a direct kind of the teachings from them. So that's why these are the kind of secondary factors. Sort of like we need that in order to continue your practice of the practice on emptiness. So then if you have all these secondary kind of factor, so then your practice on the meditation on emptiness or practice on emptiness will be more successful. We might end up taking like a series of human rebirth.
데리 제산 진바 당부를 시게래. 진바 마다네 동에 또베 겨와 치마는서 롱주 푸네. 아니 롱주 코는 게디 슈겹제 따와 그냥 용관이 동에 또베 따와. 저 푸는 뒤에 아마라. 근데 저 코는 지 답시제니 동면이 따와 뒤하고 금투기 아마리 시절이지네. 디체도 진바당 기열이죠. 야, 아니, 니지 공스. 동요도 배타와디 상지 줄을 좋아라. 니지 공스. 니지 마구나. 상지 토베 털을 두고야 말아. 니지 공부지. 아니 서바 공부지 그래. 그래서는 서바 콩 쟤는 내 손도 끼거든 봐. 내 손도 끼는 아니 돈이 있다고 그냥 야mer 봐. 그래도 돼. 돈이 있다가 재산에 돈이 있다와디 저 친구는 시키면서 냠소리는 발라. 된주 된산에 주토. 콩도 쟤나 서바 마군 이제 콘트제는 내 손기 아니 동이 따와를 말이죠. 서바 공지 디교와 상주 서바 공부제서 어디에 누가 어디에서 진바동야 디디리 야추피 마치 진바당소나 아니 겨우 진바는 주야 보는 거. 이 마주는 농주기 마주는 이 체도 가리 겸니 아니 다가란 거 코니 동이다 최지하기 그거 딩고야 말 그뒤 체도 단단해 처바피야 마진바다야 뒤에 체고래스
So then these are the secondary kind of conditions, and also it doesn't mean that you can ignore one of them. So you have to do all together, combination, okay, here together. So let's say if you miss the first one, so then the first one is like the morality, practice of morality. So of course you won't be able to obtain human rebirth, right? So if you miss the second one, practice of generosity, sort of like. So then, even though if you're born as a human being, if you don't have resources and facility to survival, so they constantly you need to run after, to survival. So you help you to survive yourself, right? So that's why it takes a lot of time. Again, you cannot do that. So then you can practice, and you can do you can practice the meditating on emptiness. Yeah, that's what we need that. And when we talk about practice of generosity, so there are two types of practice of generosity. One practice of generosity, a form of practice of generosity is something making offerings to Buddhas and upper beings, sort of like making offerings. This is also a form of practice of generosity, and giving to someone who needs, someone who could be lower than you. Not so you give this, all of these are practice of generosity. And again, you need to practice, and so all this practice needs to be done with compassionate mind. Otherwise, they don't become Mahayana practice, and then they don't become Mahayana practice means they cannot become causes or conditions for your enlightened state. Okay, that means it cannot become that causes conditions for your enlightened state of Buddhahood. Okay, if you don't have a compassionate mind, And the practice of the practice patience, same practice of patience, same. So if you don't practice patience, so then you are not. So it's zebache means the practice of patience actually enable us to obtain very attractive physical appearances, body, sort of like that. So this is also a facility. So this is one something that we needed. So then if you don't do practice of patience, so then if you get angry, if you get that anger can actually destroy immense amount of your virtue stock, so stock virtues.
tene dang de chosan tipjan tu cheben dadale jigiyari ni jimbaton inji kum chebane dadare tuni gitawati ya kombe tu mahopane tuni gitawata madewa ani nyamsome ya kubu tubudaba wati ti dan tini ngajugi ani sonum bitsa seati pena 체메시 구미야디 싱멤버를 때문에 초사에 써주지 싱멤버는 심제 탐제 때 왔던데 뭐 줄이지 스면은 저기야 심제 탐제 동네 대표 줄이지 스면은 저기야 이때 싱멤버를 때문에 초사리야 잠소 체메시부디 싱멤버를 때문에 잠주지야디 싱 아니 신당발을 때문에 초설이야. 장주 제수나 이 장소 체미 시부터 그 장주 생기다 신 당발을 때문에 초설. 아니 장소 체미 시 공이야디 신 멤버를 때문에 초설. 아니 초설도 되지. 진짜 당야 뒤에야. 이니야 신 멤버를 때문에 초설야디. 소디다 장바데 인지 꾸며들. 재미시 꿈도 장바데 인지 꿈이야. 뭐는 얘기야. 심제 통제 때 왔던데 뭐 줄지 뭐는 그래. 심제 통제 동네도 저 줄지 뭐는 얘기야.
So in terms of accumulating merits, right? Merits. So we can accumulate merit based on being who is lower than you, and so we can accumulate merit based on being who is superior than you, higher than you. So when we meditate on four immeasurables, right? Wishing all sentient beings free from sufferings and causes of the sufferings, and having all this happiness and the causes of the happiness, so on. We have four lines, right? If you do this practice, meditate on that. So you are accumulating merit based on being who is lower than you. So then that's why lower than you. And then if you do practice of the refuge and bodhicitta, so then you're accumulating merit based on higher beings, superior beings. So worshiping them, and you're accumulating merit. So when it comes to accumulation of merit, accumulating merit, you cannot ignore any of this. So these two becomes a very important part of our accumulation of merits. So then you cannot reject one or the other. So it has to be in that way.
Then when the Kubatune, Sinjatum Jetavatune, my teacher, Sinjatum Jetum, the Tavachuchi, Jenny, Serena, choice you said, the Ganjay. 가르쳐 그래. 심제 구제 마도가 상계 집에 탑심해. 이제 심제 구월 집에 마도가 상계 집에 탑심이야 말이지 그래. 상계 개박이 탑지 제고에는 심제를 대치고야. 장니지 공부고야. 심제를 장니지 마고 버제 상계 계약이 탑지야 내버리죠. 심제 구제 마도바 심제 구월에 제바 마도바 상계 집에 탑매스 탑심에 제바 제사 운주기 상계 집에 탑지고 있는 장바대 인지 공부고야. 그때青年队손을 받으면 벌써리야 봐. 그 뒤에 심제 탐제 장주다 생기다. 네 뒤에 참소 참에 심제 문제 대화도 대외주도 동네 주도 대화 주지. 근데 두개 된초게 봐. 어디 인사 상계계의 탑지 제부에는 장민지 공부에
So this practice, practice of four immeasurables, is something you can do anytime while you're driving or anytime. So there's four lines, you can recite them. Basically saying all sentient beings may free from sufferings and the causes of sufferings and so on. There are four of them. You can recite them anytime. So if you do that, this is in one way to accumulate merits. Okay. So then, these two practices are very important because if you when we make an offerings to Buddha, this whole purpose of making offerings to Buddha is to please them, right? So if you wanted to please them, the best way to please them is to please sentient beings. Without pleasing sentient beings, you cannot actually make please Buddhas. So Buddhas, so if you under one side of yourself is trying to help, making offerings to Buddha, worshiping to Buddhas and so on. So, but on the other hand, if you harm sentient beings, so then Buddha will not please with you because you are harming sentient beings, right? So in order to please sentient, Buddha, so you have to please sentient beings. If you please sentient beings, make them happy, give them happy, help them to free from their suffering, sort of way, please them means. So then you are actually pleasing Buddhas. Yeah. So then, so this practice is something you can do, by reciting these four lines.
다들 조사 뒤자 거리세야 되리다 조사 뒤자 지야디 아니 저도 어디리 신명발의 때문에 조사야지 장바디 인지 보면 되지 신초라 때문에 아니 조사야지 잠그지야 승기지야 어떠신 거지.
So the accumulating merit from the lower, based on lower beings is like meditating on love and compassion, and accumulating merit from the higher being, which is practicing refuge and bodhicitta.
다들이 자산다 돈번이 있어야 돼. 돈번이 있어야 돼. 돈번 어디들이 다디 돈번이 더디 시에버티네 돈번이디 수수 삼루디 시다 당구야. 최동재랑 신임에 세대 타제 이때는 주바자는 최근에 지나서네 티야 템바마이 상바르지 티야 템바마이 그 유기 때는 능구도가 네 자신기게로 최근에 지나네 이때는 주바자는 다들 매니 앞에 난기야 티야 템바마이 상바르지 다 생군지지 아니 하다 유디네 마두단데 근데도 수술로라 최탐제 도가 파탄선 유디네 잔네 슬러버다 미주디가래도 다제제 아디 야네 연도 지기나 아니 디네 파 자치를 절대 고아디 서브르 지도야요 삼르 찍다네 니다나 때 서브 그래 삼는 몸부터네 뒤지기 지용그리.
So now we have been talking about how to meditate on emptiness for this the retreat or this session, right, retreat. And we said that in order to realize emptiness or understand emptiness, we need to put them into practice. We need to do practice. Or we need to do practice. Do practice means think over again and again on that matter. So then so first you need to make a mind, decide that things are lack of truly exist. They just appear to me as something, but they are not that in that way. They're not true. So decide that, make that kind of decision in your mind. So then later on, just use all these other logics, how things are not exist and truly exist, how they have been appearing to us. You just go through all these reasons why they are empty and so on. So this you need to do again and again. So if you do one time, so you may not feel anything, but if you do second time, the second time will be different than the first time. If you do the third time will be different than the second time, so that gradually it progress and gets easier and better.
나한테 심지어 강의 신부 지금 나를 대발해서 통수네 피내 주의 유발 짓는 거를 봐. 그냥 대범이 지 땡지 가려서 강의 세도 대범이 강의 탑실을 때문에 세 투야지 왜 삼사르지 지구야 피내 주의 강의 신부지 그래서 그래. 이 피네츠나 샤브지 물어봐 강에디 나서디 피네츠 이렇게 나요네 디야 나와더럼 덴바 말이 덴디 초장을 샤바리 덴디 초장을 두배 있으면 덴디디 세야기 덴디디 맞춰 덴디디 봐 덴디 초장을 때는 내디 중하를 디 내디 시야게 탑시야리 이 내디 그 말이 덴디 초점을 때는 내가 수비야리 덴디 간시 초발할 때는 내디 그 덴디 간시 초발할 때는 내디 내가 수야 여러 어디가 소리 짓지냐 야네 신제 동네기 나와 통수네 뒤에 대면 말했지. 동에 드나셔 동에 말했지. 근데 덴버지 베트남 유지네. 아니 뒤에 덴버 말이 강내세도 덴디 거실에 되네세도 비타비아리 삼사럽지. 지기는 어디 디리다.
So then, in a daily life, when you see someone suffering very heavily, suffering, and sometimes you are suffering, you think like this is, very intense kind of suffering. So when it happens, so I think that these are just, appears to me because of depending on some causes and conditions, right? So that can be changed. So if I, so let's use like then the Shanla is like something like saying something like if you create like other dependent arising, so then they can actually change the whatever you think about it. So then that means like you can think that this is that can be go away, whatever you experience at this moment, and if you're looking at other beings and suffering, so you can think so that can actually go away. And then look for like what kind of causes condition can actually eliminate that, because that can be eliminated because this is actually based on causes and conditions. If you provide the other causes and conditions for that, that can be removed. So you think about that, and then so when you see someone is suffering, so you should not just think like these are like a lack of interest in existing and walk away. So just instead of doing that, things like this are actually, they are lack of the truly lack of the lack of truly existent. So then that's since they are lack of truly existent, they depend on causes and conditions. If I provide other causes and conditions for that, that can be eliminated. You should think that.
No, that is that. Oh, there's that. Then you make a day, you make a shade in the domain to that to some rich jabber, but the jabber gets out to the energy. Jared Sanji Tamaramuchi. And so Dinty Chitan. 장군 이시면 구체제 되게야 아니 현재 단지 가르쳐 그래 현재 단지 아니 가르쳐 아니 강의도 제네 수르베 다 간제 동반이기 더 될 때네 현재 단지 인지 시시 단 지바 단지리 좀 내가 쇼 상가르지. 나는 랑기 교와 뒤져발았대. 아니 어디 얘기 나는 자고 그랬어.
So then last few days we have been discussing this topic, this class, and we've been discussing this topic or teaching. So by doing that, we have created the merits. So now it's time to dedicate our merits. So then when we dedicate our merits, so think about chir karsa.
상계 때문에 유린도
Never thought. Okay. Chir means like in general, may these Buddha's teachings remain for a long time. Okay.
아니
long
제
time.
딘디 기부지 당 개발도 아니 다 가르스네. 장그런 것이 아니 가르스래. 그때 되게 개비는 다 아니 다 장그런 것을 하겠지 누가 야말이 가르스네. 이제 뒤져야래. 구인 그 차네. 딜레라가 매버려. 이제 뒤져야 그 차네. 딜레 매버려. 아니 이 장그런 거지 굳이 이런 내배이나 이 선전만 보라. 이 편바 용기 열어봐. 어디 사니? 어디 뒤져야 하면 자고 왜 뒤져서나? 겨우야 되지. 그 실리 구인 친구이니 이제 뒤게마도 그렇지. 영으로 뭐지? 구인 여봐. 디나신다. 이제 뒤도 선전만 부지라. 주로르니 게 미리르니 링내봐. 가인 지레야. 네. 가르소래 펜데 남든 나이데 영을 좀 붙이는 신도가 매번 연습할때 뒤꾸지 되게야지 나는 뭐는 자고야 자고야 어디 뒤래 어디 자고 되네 나는 돈 많이 있잖아 저 삼체밖에 왔다갔더니 선제 탐지고 또 산지 죽고 봐 유튜브 쇼스 나네 되지.
So then, dedicate to remain these teachings for a long time and flourish and have benefit sentient beings, and then and also dedicate to in Tibetan it's called Tenzin Kipu. Tenzin Kipu means Tenzin Kipu means someone who holds Dharma teachings, sort of like that could be that could be your teacher, that could be a practitioner, and that could be brothers, sisters, someone who says carries Dharma practices and stuff like that. And especially we will dedicate for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, because His Holiness the Dalai Lama, he is Tenzin Kipu. Tenzin Kipu means someone who's holding Dharma. So part of the holding Dharma as just holding Dharma. So that means like he is very well known in this world, and he's benefiting a lot of people regardless of their backgrounds. And then if he live for a long time, and if his activities gets more what you call popular, sort of like dating gay, I don't know how to say in English, popular, so that can actually benefit many sentient people. Many people are sentient beings. So that's why we so then if you look at this world, so then one way we can say that we will not be able to find a person like him. So someone who has that kind of knowledge, very heavy knowledge, and not only that, and his knowledge has been benefiting all these people in this world, regardless of their their backgrounds and stuff like that, right? So because of all these reasons, so then we wish and we need to make a prayer, prayer for him to stay a long time and benefit in that way for a long time. Yeah? And then and also we also dedicate to entire sentient beings, so then they may actually eventually they may able to see the meaning of the emptiness, and also and liberate from the samsara and so on. So then, and also we should dedicate it for ourselves as well. So we, we are trying to understand this topic, these teachings. So then, may I also understand by doing these virtuous deeds. May I also able to understand, realize the nature of the emptiness teaching, and within me, realize that kind of quality within me. So we do dedicate in that way.
Oh, didn't do Kangolo the training and to Sukangolo didn't share to be 20 Gaging major young man Jaguaris.
And also we should dedicate for this center, and also this center is, because of this center it happened, we were like, we get access to dialogue or do these teachings, so we dedicate for this member, volunteer, this center, and everyone.
Oh, that did it. That thing.
The meditation is also. Meditation.
Oh,
Okay, let's do mandala. If you have this handout, there's only one page, right?
Ali Chanju Sunjo.
I don't.
Chanju
Okay, let's do
Sunjo.
dedication. Chanjo Senjo Rembo Che Ma Ge Pa Na Ge Yo Ji Ge Ba Nya Ba Me Ba Yang Bon Ne Kong Ge Wa Ra Sho
Dongi Tower.
Rembo